Let's go ahead and get started. My name is Danny Ross, and I'll be your host today for the AI Lunch and Learn Wednesday session. So just to give you a little history, we have Tuesdays at noon, 12 noon Eastern, and then Wednesday we start 12 noon Central or 1 p.m. Eastern. And finally, the Thursday session is 3 p.m. Eastern or 12 noon Pacific. If you need to catch up on any of the previous training, please just go in and click on any of these videos, which will launch and walk you through the historical videos. Go through the big dream generator, and there's 13 questions here. But when you're done answering these questions and trigger it, it will give you what we call a business brief. What's great about the business brief is that it will step you through everything you need, from taking your ideas out of your head and putting it on paper. This is really important because when you do this process, you end up with a document that you can use for every aspect of the solution. For example, you can get your target audience, make sure that's exactly who you want to target. You can get your core problems that you're targeting and solving. What's the transformation to the audience? So these are all things that you should know. And if you're going to launch any kind of marketing campaign, what's the three biggest pain points you're going to solve? And once you solve them, where are they going to end up? So these are all things you should absolutely be able to answer from any customer and any potential marketing that you're going to do. You're targeting your personal avatar or persona. And so you want to have all of this information, and now you can start to use it in your marketing. And so to remember, today's topics are going to be on sales and marketing. And so first thing you need to do from a sales and marketing point of view, after you get your business formation done, where you might need to get, your website, you can buy a domain, you might want to get a business email, a business phone number. So if you're going to go put together a business plan, get funding, all of those things, you really do need to have all of these things kind of lined up, and these tools will help you do that. One of the things that I wanted to talk a little bit about today, sales and marketing. So lead gen, no matter where you are in the business cycle, you are going to need to get new customers. There's a couple of high-end marketing gurus who say that the only purpose of a business is to acquire new customers. And so to do that, you need some sort of lead gen. And lead gen can take many different forms, but in the age of AI, digital marketing is probably king, second only to social media marketing. And so there's lots of different techniques. And we will talk today about that lead gen process tomorrow. If you look at sales and the sales cycle, there's essentially 4 stages. There's the prospecting stage after you find prospects and you need to qualify them. That's the qualification stage. The third stage is the presentation and possibly the close, depending how you want to count it. And then finally, it all starts right back over from the beginning. You have to constantly go through that cycle of finding new customers, qualifying them, seeing if they're a good fit for your business, whether it's services or products, doing your presentation, including your proposal and your pricing, and then, of course, closing them, which is a very important aspect of the sales cycle. And then it just starts over and over again. All right. So let's go into Hyperrealistic AI for just a second. I want to show you, I have this business brief. I've copied it, and now I want to start applying it to creating lead gen content. So there's a couple of ways I can come in here and use Hyperrealistic. It's a really good content creation tool. I can go ahead and say, hey, here's my business brief. Give me some ideas. All right. So this process is the way that I like to use this document and have it give me ideas I can use as part of any particular project that I'm developing. So in this case, it is for a business consulting service helping entrepreneurs grow their networks and businesses, which is what I do. But this is specifically for a business coach and speaker coach. So you can pick the shape and size of the image. So for example, if it's going to be on a website, you may want to do it horizontal or landscape. If it's going to be in a reel or a feed, you may want to do a vertical version of it. So you just pick the size and shape that you want to use, and then you just tell it to go. Simple as that. And so that tool is now off to the races, kind of creating that process. So I can go back here now. You can click duplicate, create another version of the tab. And so you can go in, and while that's spinning and working, you can continue to do the types of things that you want to do. So if I go back into the AI sales coach and I look at the information that I've been creating, so this one right here, I believe was the last one that I just did. So we can get it to wake up. There we go. So it's a business brief for this particular business. And so I don't remember which business brief I was working from. I think it might have been that last one there. Okay, cool. Let's go back here. Let me see if it's done. So I'm trying to build content about speaking and having a business coach. And so it just gave me that particular image. I can go to the second one. This one is an entrepreneur standing on a podium with a large audience around eagerly listening. So similar, but slightly different. Again, you're building up a portfolio of images that you're going to use either on your website or in advertisement or postings that you do in social media. And so you can change it up, change the shape of it, and go. I like it. Let's go. And by the way, one of the things that you should do if you pick, and this is just typical of AI, I talk about this in my training all the time. If you just say, give me an entrepreneur, it's going to automatically give you a white guy with a beard. It's just the biases that are built into AI tools. It's not anything negative. It's not a conspiracy. It's just that these things were trained on the world at large, and it was also trained by a bunch of young guys with beards, probably with ponytails. That's the, it's just the nature of the person who's training the data. It's a bias built into AI. So if you want something else, you may have to say, I want a black female entrepreneur standing on a podium with a large audience around her eagerly listening, a more diverse. And so you could even say, if you're doing a group, you could say a diverse group. But it's really, if you're building a particular target audience, so when you do your avatar exercise, you want to define who your targeting as well, right? So from here, now you've got a different image simply by changing that. Same look and feel, generally speaking, but now it may be more specific to who you are. And so you can put the ethnicity of the target person in your video so that you get what you're looking for, a visual of a large dynamic network with nodes connected on glowing lines. So that one is more of a good image I would create for, let's say, a background, something that you're going to do on your website. Here's an entrepreneur with a beaming smile, shaking hands with a diverse group of people. So again, the AI in this case is listening. No, I'm just kidding. But it does say this time. So I could say Latina entrepreneur. And so let's do this. And by the way, the AI doesn't care about grammar. It's more of a human thing. A Latina entrepreneur. And I'll be specific. So I can say something like that. I can change it back to landscape, and then let's see what we get. And so now we've got a couple of images that we can start to add to our portfolio that we're going to use for our next stage, right? So here's something interesting. The image itself is fantastic. I like the image. You can see here there's something weird going on with the hands. This is a challenge with AI in general, aside from the bias, and it sometimes has troubles with hands and or sometimes the faces themselves. This tool, though, is trained very well for the purpose, and it usually does a really, really good job. And there's nothing particularly wrong with the two hands that are here, But then this hand here kind of has like a sleeve going off, but then I can't see the rest of it. So, I'd give that one like a 2 out of 5, but the rest of it is really good. So I'm not going to say to the AI, you failed completely in your mission, but I would say, yeah, we need to run that again just so we get a different look at it. And so that's just something and what's great about it is you can iterate as many times as you need to get the images that you're looking for. You can change the description and you could take out the whole shaking hands thing because, again, see how you're getting this really weird thing going on. So I would take out the shaking hands thing and I would just put in front of. And then I would put a diverse group of some people symbolizing new partnerships. And the reason why I know the handshake is important, but we're obviously having trouble, the AI is having trouble getting that right. So you can just tell it, hey, try that again without the handshaking and let's see what we get this time. So it's a right idea, but it's not executing it very well. And by the way, if you just keep trying and trying, it'll get it right eventually. So I'm going to delete that one with the weird handshake thing and I will delete this one with the weird handshake thing. And there we go. So now we've got this one. I'll give it a 4 because this is a really good shot. You got a group of people around the entrepreneur. I'd give that one a 4. So again, you get what you want eventually. And it does a really good job of representing everybody, but you have to be specific in the instructions. If you were on my Tuesday classes, I teach a technique called the create method. And in the create method, every aspect of the prompt that you're giving, I teach you how to be specific and exact on what you want. But one of the nice things about the Build Biz platform is that you really don't have to know what you're doing. You can just type a sentence and the AI usually does a pretty decent job of getting it right. So anyway, we've got a few photos and we can now go back here. One of the tips and tricks that I use is that as I'm working, I usually have a document that I can use so that I have a place to put all of these things as I work through them and get them going. So let me get a new document here. You can use Word, you can use Doc. I'm on a Mac. You can use the native document, or you can use Notes. You can use anything. But the idea is you just want to have a place where you can work with Sales Coach and get the information that you are feeding into these different tools. I like to have a document that I'm using from that perspective. So let's go down here. And let's see what we have here. This is a chapter by chapter outline, director, and World Farmers event, personal blurb. Okay, so these are all good tools here. This is from a company called Graceful Threads. And so I kind of copied in a whole bunch of information for this task. And so this is the descriptions that I used. All right, so there's the benefit stack, and there's some of the headlines and things like that that we want to use. So if I go back out here now, and I go back to, say, content creation under scroll stopping, I can continue to work with a document like this one. So this is the Graceful Threads one. And I like to use it from the standpoint of putting together what it is that we want to do. So let's do this humanize, brand colors, marketing, proposal, features and settings. So it kind of gives the headlines and the magic hooks. And these are all created, by the way, by the actual AI tool itself. And so everything in here, this document, I created one document where I can put all of the things that I want to be able to use whenever I am creating new content. So I don't have to keep going back and searching through my AI tools to find it. So this is the features, services, and section. So this actually also does a great job. So I can actually just grab all of this content and I can go ahead and go into the next tool. So again, scroll stopping is about creating ads. that grab your attention. So it's going to take a second because it's a pretty big document, but it's also highly educational for the AI. And what I can do is I can save my projects and information under each one of these so that I don't have to keep doing the copy paste thing. But I wanted to show you how I normally work with this. So it gave me a couple of ideas. So I can grab that. I can throw it into Graceful Threads project and then run it, or I can just run it where it is. And so let's say I want to get another image. Let's say this time I want a square image. One of the great things is you don't really have to know about a whole lot of prompting. You can just go here, say who's your target audience. So in this case, my target audience is families. I can decide if I want an illustration, digital artwork, a cartoon, a drawing. So I don't have to know about how to create the great perfect prompt. I can just simply pick the colors and things that I want to work with. She likes blue and purple. And so those are two good colors for her. And then I tell it to go and create that image. And what these images are designed for is just to kind of stop you from scrolling as you're scrolling. So they're very bright and colorful. But by the way, if you don't want them to be bright and colorful, you can just click this switch right here and it'll turn it off for you. So you can have a lot of different styles, if you will, of images that you can use throughout your website and for your brand. So you put your brand colors in there, the actual hex codes, and that will help you create that content. So the first thing that we're doing is we're building in a host of different images, a close-up of hands holding different family reunion shirts representing a unique design, families standing proudly in front of a large reunion sign, all wearing coordinated tees. Here's what's interesting about this particular prompt. You can go say, I'm going to go with that. And then I can put in the word diverse, right? And so get a little variety. And then I can go with, say, landscape or whatever. And I can tell it, yeah, that's pretty good. I want to start with that. Here's what's interesting is because of the whole text and image thing, you have to be careful when you are doing these types of prompts because it's going to try to get the same text on every shirt. That is pretty tough for this AI to do. I've seen it succeed and I've seen it fail. And then you can decide if you want to edit the actual text that's on the shirt. There's a lot of different ways you can edit it. But just as a fair warning, that's one of those tasks that I've seen it succeed at, getting the same exact name on every shirt. I might have should have went with the previous prompt because it did say they were all going to be unique designs. This is pretty good. I like the diversity of the family. You can't quite read the text, which is great because you can change it around. And so there's ways to edit the text after the fact using AI tools. One of my favorites is Canva. You can also edit the text in the platform by going in here to edit. It has a very simple editing tool. We do have some AI functionality, like you can replace the background. You can do a magic remove by kind of highlighting a particular thing you want to remove. You can also magic insert. So those are three things that we do. And then you have cropping and resizings. And then you can also do, for example, annotate, where if you want to change this sign, you can change the text on the sign by simply drawing a box and then putting in new text. So it's not as powerful as Canva if you use Canva, but it does a good enough job to get it done. So those are just some tips and tricks that you can utilize. Actually, I want to go back and try that previous prompt. I'm very interested. Holding different family reunion t-shirts. And in this case, let's see. Different family reunion t-shirts with unique design. Close-up of diverse hands. And I'll put diverse there too. And then I'll tell it to go. Kind of curious of what it comes back with. All right, so it's working on that. So now we want to get some text content, and the text content is going to end up on our website. So we'll come back to the website creator here. AEO website is the best one to use, but we might want to start with sales and marketing. And in sales and marketing, there's quite a few different tools. So there's tools for if you are doing work for yourself. from a marketing point of view. And then there are tools if you're doing sales and marketing for someone else as a customer. So you can go either way with this process. And the sales and marketing, AI marketing proposal is primarily if you're doing it for someone else, but you can also use it for yourself. I use it if I want to test the speed of the website that I'm building. I can run the AI marketing proposal because it not only looks at the information that is pertinent to the website design. So if I go here to this marketing proposal, you can see where it did for Graceful Threads. It was talking about the original site. Performance on mobile was kind of slow. It wasn't horrible, but it was kind of slow in the warning zone. And then it was a little bit better for the desktop, but it has definitely had some issues. And so that's why you want to know, how is it performing? What's the speed of it? What's the SEO tags? And if you don't know what SEO is, don't worry about it. It's just discussion. And then here are some of the headlines that the system creates. So if you're giving this to somebody, you can just have it generate first pass at these headlines, and then you can go edit them and make them better, right? This is just an example of using AI to generate different things. And then it's going to take a pass at creating some pictures that you may want to use or not use. I thought this one was pretty decent. I like that one with all of them having the gorilla t-shirt. It's kind of cute. Maybe it has some meaning to them. And then same thing with creating a benefit stack. So if you're in sales and marketing, a benefit stack, people don't buy products and services. What they buy is the benefit or what they get out of using your products and services. So this tool focuses on giving you really good things that you can post on your website and talk about the meaning of your services and products. Personal expression, gift giving, delight your loved ones with unique custom-made apparel that expresses thoughtfulness and creativity. Family bonding, right? So these are the things, this is why people are going to buy your products or services. It's what they get out of it, what's in it for them. So you really do have to work on that. And then another part is creating these bonuses. So if you're going to get people into your business, you have to give them extra reasons. And so these are just some of the ones that it came up with. And I took this one and I went with that one and actually built it out. The Family Reunion Planner Guide, and that's a free bonus that the AI suggested. I then took that idea, gave it back to the AI sales coach, and asked it to write that out for me and create it. And so this is what it came up with. And then I could expand upon it further. But you see how you use AI to create what's called a lead magnet or free bonus. And then you use AI to help you create the actual finished whatever it is, whether it's a video, whether it's in this case, an ebook that you can give away. You want to use AI to help you with that whole marketing effort. So hopefully that all made some sense. As I go along, if you guys have questions, please go ahead and ask them, and I'll keep an eye on the chat as we go along. All right, so we started down the process of creating. Let's see what we've got here. This is pretty interesting. So it's got family reunion spelt very well, and then it's got like a sample shirt, and then it's just showing a diverse set of hands around this shirt. And again, the idea is family, right? Coming together, and that's actually a pretty decent image. So I'll give that one also a 4. I like that one. That would be something you could throw on a website and it would have really good meaning. So that's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Now I can go to any project that I'm working on, and you can see some of the images that were created for those particular projects. So you can kind of see what I was speaking of when I say, okay, here's a specific project. So these are all related to Graceful Threads. These are all AI generated images that we were using to just generate content, right? And then from there, we started working on the website. So the best website builder by far is the AEO website creator. The other ones are all legacy. The only reason I don't remove them is some people built their projects on those, and I don't want them to suddenly lose their app that they've been building in. But if you're building a new one or you want to move it from one to the other, highly recommend using this version of the website generator. So if I go in here, I can go to edit that particular page. And so you can see where we are. We're just doing a very simple page so far. We're building this while everyone is kind of watching. And the idea is to generate a page that anybody can build. So right now we've gotten the website going. We've got a special offer with a countdown. We've got some images that we created that walks you through why you should do business. We created, so if I take this whole site and I preview it, you can kind of see it with the video. So we created a AI video. So that's something we can talk about if anybody has questions on how to create an AI video. But you can see.
Celebrate every occasion with meaningful apparel designed on a timely schedule to deliver quality without compromise. Experience ultimate comfort with our high-quality cotton blends, perfect for lasting memories. Enjoy inclusive design input from all generations, ensuring satisfaction through professional service and guaranteed delight. Choose graceful threads for memorable keepsakes at competitive pricing, turning family events into treasured memories.
So you can see it's a 30-second video, just a simple video, and we would edit that and make it longer and better, but I just wanted to kind of show you. We added a simple pop-up here so you can capture if they try to leave the site. You can see, and you can set this either they have to click on a button to contact you, or if they try to leave, hey, one quick reminder before you leave, that kind of thing. And so you can have these simple forms that you put on the page, all part of gathering that lead. And so these are all the components that are very important to creating a sales funnel. So you enter the top of the funnel with a general idea of what you want, and then you kind of go down the funnel looking at the different benefit information, the services that are provided. So why would you want to do business with us? And then, by the way, here's a special bonus offer and before you go kind of thing, right? So those are the types of elements you want to have. We need to add an FAQ section because FAQs are really important to keeping someone on the page, right? You want to be able to answer all the questions that they may have in their head before they leave your website. So let's go ahead, and there's two ways you can do the whole FAQ thing is you can add a section. So like in this case, let's go back here. So now we're going to, and there's lots of ways to add sections, but one of the easiest one is just to come here and add either a row, determine how many columns are in that row, and add a component. So in this case, I'm going to go down here, and I can also add a section just by clicking here. I can add a row. So if this is your first time with this editor, I should maybe back up a step and explain. So you have three container styles, okay? So the purple is effectively what's called a section. And if you click on the purple, it'll bring it out and tell you. This is a whole segment or section, and it lays it out for you. And then if you go inside of that bigger container, which is the segment or section, is the blue, which is the row. And again, if you click on the row, it tells you, hey, this is a one column row. You can have different styles of rows. So for example, this one here, this is a three column row, and so on and so forth. And then within each row are the different items. So in this case, this is an image. This here is a headline. So it'll tell you what each one is if you click on it, right? It's a headline, subheadline. And so it gives you all of the information that you can edit. So in this case, I want to go ahead and add a place where I can start talking about FAQs. So I can add a whole new segment, and I'm going to tell it I want it to be this wide. I can then add a row. I can say, do I want it to be a one column row, two column row, three column row, that kind of thing. Since I'm just going to put in a whole list of FAQs, I'll just make it a one column row, and then I can add a component. Now, what's great is you can manually create FAQs. If I want to add a video or a button that does something, I have different kinds of text. I have different kinds of media, images, and so on. I can create forms where I can, like this input form down here. I can do checkout. I can connect it to a payment gateway and do a lot of fun things with products and orders and services. I can do countdown, which is what we have here. And then AEO FAQ is what I want it to do. I can also do magic hooks here, benefit stacks. So these are all things that are AI created. In this case, I'm going to do an FAQ section. So I'll just drag and drop it there. And then I can tell it, hey, based on the things that are on the website page, generate me some FAQs. And so you can drop in a URL, like for instance, if you have an old website, you can put in a niche or niche. So we're going to make this family. And actually, this is the target audience, sorry. Your niche is apparel. All right. Primary keywords, geographic focus, input outline. So in this case, I'm going to go back to my document. This is why I said having the document is great because I can just grab the whole document, go here, drop it in, and then tell it to generate. So it's going to take a minute, but it's going to look at all the text that I just gave it, and it's going to say, okay, what would the target audience, what kinds of questions would the target audience ask me? And that's where it comes up with those FAQs automatically. But what's good about it is you don't have to just use these. You can add your own. So if you're in business for a while, you know the questions you get. You just want to make sure all those questions are on your website. So 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it's available to answer those questions. Why should I choose personalized apparel for my family reunion? Personalized apparel, blah, blah, blah. All right, personalized t-shirts affordable for large families? Yes, they are. So all of the questions that someone has in their head, you want to make sure your FAQ section answers those. And you can change the color scheme. You can, change the size of the letters. So you have complete control over the look and feel of the website. So very important part of making sure you get your questions answered accurately even before somebody reaches out to you. Another really good way to do this is through what we call a chat bot. And so you can create a chat bot. I like to collect information so that, of course, I can reach back out to them. It's very rare I'm available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you collect this basic information before you even let them start answering questions, now the bot can answer questions. So, what are the key elements of creating a good website? All right. So that's a simple type of sales and marketing question, but I'm not available to answer those questions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? So you want to be able to have a bot that's there who can answer any question that somebody kind of comes up with. And when it gives you back an answer, by the way, if you don't like the answer that it's giving you, you can ask for a human being. So that, that's a part of it, right? You want to be able to ask for a question, and then if you don't like the answer, you want to be able to have it give you a human being type of answer. So right now it seems to be off thinking. Oh, I know what it is. This one may not be connected to anything, and this might be just the demo side of it. So apologies. Let's see if it comes back. I'll give it a few more seconds, see if it comes back with anything. Oh, by the way, you can also upload a document or a picture. I want to speak with a human. Right? Let's see what it does here. Give it a second. I don't think it's connected to anything. This is demo. There we go. I'm transferring you to a human representative. Please hold on. So it's going back to put me in touch with a human being. So I'm going to get an email with my follow-up, and then the person who is running the chat will also get an email with the person saying, hey, I want to speak to a human. So it is connected. So a chat bot is another important element for any website. You want to be able to get them while they're there and answer their questions so you kind of get what you want. So these are the key elements of creating a good website. Let's try this again. I wanted to see if I asked it a simple question, can it answer that question? Yeah, it's not connected. So it won't take this long if it's working. And so that's how I know that it's not connected. So we'll do on one of the future lessons, I'll show you how to build out a whole chatbot. I don't want to stop to do that. If you've not seen some of the new functionality, we are spending a lot of time in training on AI agents. That's really a new feature of the website. And it's a lot of fun because these agents are getting very smart and they can perform a lot of different tasks. So let's see what we've got going on here. Hold on, let me go back out of here. And so here is the email. See, a user has requested to speak with a human, and so it lets me know I need to do that. I can go to the conversation if I'm logging in, so I can log in and jump right to that conversation, depending on what level. And the reason why that chatbot is not working is because it's not trained up on anything. But I can go in here. I would actually have to create the chatbot, and that chatbot is not connected, and that's what I wanted to show you there. I can show you what it looks like on a connected chatbot. Just hold on just a second. Let me go to the back end system here and show you, makes it a little larger for you to see. There we go. So this is the question that I just got asked. So I can go back here and see, right? The whole conversation as it's working. And so anybody who's reaching out, you can see all of them working through this. So this is a sample conversation. Here's my problem. How do I print an invoice? I won't download. If the invoice won't download, try this. So this is the AI answering those questions, right? So this is the chatbot answering the question. And if it could not satisfy the customer, it sends it to a human being. Sorry for the inconvenience. Have you tried using a different browser, updating? So all of this is completely AI generated. And then it says, do you want to reach out to a human being? And the person didn't say yes. And so that's why. So you can kind of find out, where these things are working, when they're not working. This one, I believe, was also another test example. Here we go. If to speak with a representative, you can contact. Da, da, da. So there you go. So it's reached out. And this person reached out to me, Imani, and then I basically reached out to them and got them straightened out. So that's how it looks from the back end. So I'll show you how to build one of these on a future lesson. I don't want to diverse too far from this lesson today on sales and marketing. All right, so we kind of got that going. All right, so there's the website. I need to save. Pro tip, don't forget to save. You don't want to lose whatever works. So we just added in the AI sales agent. The other thing I always talk about is you do want to make sure that you are always giving them benefits, right? So I can add another row. Let's see. Let's just do it this way. I'll grab another row in here, add a row. And by the way, as a person who does design all of the time, one of the things you do want to do is actually name all of these in your layers so you can remember what they are. So we just did the AI FAQs, you can do the magic hooks, you can do the benefit stack, and they really kind of work the same way as the FAQs. You tell it you want to generate a benefit stack. You can paste in your document again if you have it, target audience, inspirational, factual, fun, urgent, that kind of thing, and then click generate. And we've already got a benefit stack above, but I wanted to kind of show you how easy it is to generate one right in the platform. And then you can see it kind of gave you some of the same ones that we just had. And then you can click the ones that you would like to do, and it'll automatically add them. So I can do family bonding, stress-free planning, value and affordability, timely delivery. So you can put all of these in there and it'll just build them out for you. And so there you go. What's included, right? This, that, 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 that. And then you can essentially bullet point them the way that they're laid out, right? So you can put some color behind it, make it a different colored section. You can put a background color, whatever color you want, blue, light blues, whatever. You can play around with it, that kind of thing. Work on your branding colors, right? So keep your branding colors. You can change it to your branding colors. You can change the fonts. For each one, you can go in and edit them that kind of thing. So you have complete control over it. It's really great. You can add some animation, but we're not going to do all of that today. I just wanted to kind of show you how easy it is to lay this out very quickly. All right. So we'll leave that there. We're not even going to save that because I already have this benefit stack up above already in there and formatted. So here you go. So here's a benefit stack. But I did want to show you how easy it is to create one. So I'm going to exit without saving. All right. Anybody have any questions? We're pretty much going to wrap it up for today. I do want to show you, if you were not on a previous call, these are super agents. This is the latest and greatest technology under new AI apps section. And so you can go in here and pick something that you want it to do. So for example, let's do this one. That's an image. Let's do this one. This one's pretty simple and fast. So I'll do this one. And so I can go here, drop that task in here, and I'll pick somebody's name. Melinda, if you want to give it to me in the chat, I can add it here. If not, I'll just send it to myself. All right. And so I'm going to send an image of a birthday cake with a pink angel on it. And so this is what's called an AI task. So what is great is you can have it run this task and then step away from it. It is smart enough to know how to do all of the different steps, and it's going to basically do this autonomously. And this is one of the differences between a GPT or chatbot and an agent. A GPT or chatbot is kind of input output, meaning that you give it a prompt and it gives you back an answer or an image or something specific that you asked for, essentially. The difference is an agent, you give it that same prompt or task, and then it'll do something for you. It actually performs that task for you without you having to be involved. Let me show you the structure of an agent and super agent. You can see that super agent is here. This is the top part. And then below it, think of it as the CEO of the management of your requests. That particular agent has communication managers under it. It has research managers. It has content managers. And then each manager's works with or controls individual bots that are specialized. So this is Davina, the document. This is Eli, the email. Cal, the calendar, G, slides. So these are all things that specialize in specific tasks. You have one that does web crawling, real-time retrieval, research specialist using the new deep research mode that's available in large language models. All that means is it slows down, it thinks about what it's about to do, tests things, and then until it finally gets it right. So it's not as fast, but it does a really, really good job of getting very detailed answers, showing the sources. Here's Imogen. She creates images. Contacto is your contact manager for your customers, the video maker, and the blog maker. So these are all different ones. And so here you can see the super agent reached out to the content manager. And I always joke that the super agent is very polite to its workers and managers. It says, please. And then it wrote a prompt. I didn't write all of this, right? I just told it I wanted a cake with a pink angel on it. And it did the whole decoration of it, the whole image itself, and created it automatically. I didn't have to describe what I want. It kind of interpreted. And I could say, okay, no, that's not good. Please go ahead and do this a different way, for example. So these are all the different things that I can do. So let's see. Yeah, I can see the execution there. And then from there, Imogen, the visualizer, created the actual image, dropped it into the communication manager. The communication manager just sent it to Eli, the email maestro, and the super agent together, created this email, Dear Belinda, wishing you a happy birthday. May your day be as... And so it kind of went through this whole thing and created this image for me. And so now it's sending it, Eli is sending it that, hey, this is all done. And it's sending it back to the super agent to let the super agent know that the entire task is done. And what I love about this process is, again, I didn't have to write the prompt. I didn't have to call up the hyperrealistic because it uses that to create the image. I didn't have to do all of the normal steps I would have to do to walk through it. And it can do very complex tasks. I had it create a PowerPoint presentation or a presentation for me the other day. You can have it go out and search the internet. I've had it search for jazz bars in Atlanta and then create an event. So it can do all of those things from one simple task request or prompt. So it just kind of gives you an idea of how this whole process can work. And by the way, if I go back to my content area, let's go back here for a second. And I go into file storage. Oh, let's go into images. There's my cake, right? These are all my images that are in my, so I can get this entire thing here. I can grab it and it's just downloaded. I can go back to my download folder. Let's see what I've got here. And we've got a birthday image. And so there you go. That's the birthday image that it created. And here's the t-shirt image that it created. So very easy to create these things. It's a lot of fun, and you can kind of see all of these things as they go. By the way, here's the email. It just pinged in. Dear Melinda, wishing you a happy birthday. May your day. So if I click on download images, it'll show me the actual image. So that's an idea of an AI task. So I'll stop here. We're right about the top of the hour. It happens sometimes, but I appreciate you guys being on here and kind of walking through. Tomorrow is 3 p.m. Eastern. It's the incubator series where we put together people who are building out what we call white labels, which means you have the ability to rebrand the entire platform and sell it for yourself. So this is the whole process, and that's where the AI, the Thursday session is. Again, 3 p.m. Eastern. Please go into the platform and sign up for it. You can also see there's two ways to make money on the platform. Actually, there's four, but these are the two simplest. You can simply go here and use this link. Your link will have your name on it, and you can share it with anyone. You get 50% of anybody who signs up. And then white label is where you take the entire platform, rebrand it your colors, change which apps are available, how much the apps cost, which is the third way to make money. You can actually charge for your apps, create custom AI apps, and there's a whole host of types of custom AI apps you can create. These are all the ones here you can create once you sign up for the white label. So that kind of gives you a pretty broad ways that you can make money easily on the platform. So white label, we spend a lot of time on Thursdays. All right, everyone, I'm going to end it here for today. I'm glad you were able to jump on. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. All right, bye-bye.